Always I like to talk about the same thing when it comes to this week's Parsha. And what I'd like to talk about is about the generosity of Avraham Avinu, of Achnasat Orchim, bringing in guests, and how this Parsha talks about Hashem, God Almighty Himself, come to visit him. But as soon as he sees guests, he tells Hashem, if it's okay, if you can wait for me, I would like to go honor my guest. And as the Talmud derives from this, Gdolah Achnasat Orchim Yoter Mikabalat Pnei Shechina, inviting guests is even greater than receiving the Shechina. And that's what Avraham did. And it's a beautiful message for us, the importance of inviting guests, that you got to do it with the fullest measure. And when it comes guest, you have to not do shortcuts. Just do it all the way, as best as you can. And that's the beauty of Am Yisrael, Achnasat Orchim, that we have, one of our greatest beauties. And at this point, I just wanted to share a story today from our Rebbe about it. I heard it this weekend, so I really want to share it, if it's okay. And the story told us a member of the family, of his family. And the story was with a great shliach, as we spoke about it many times. His name was Beryl Baumgarten. He was a shliach in Argentina. The first shliach in Argentina built Chabad, built a great world of Yiddishkeit in Argentina. And the story is, prior of him being a shliach, he lived in New York, in Crown Heights, Lubavitch. And he did a lot of work, as I read a lot about him, did a lot of work in education, in chinuch, helping the Rebbe's work then, even prior of the Rebbe being Rebbe. Because prior to the Rebbe being Rebbe, he got a mission of his father-in-law, the previous Rebbe, to open up Merkaz Linyane Chinuch, education, and he was very into helping the Rebbe in that. And he was very strongly connected, a real soldier. The story I wanted to say is, one time he had to give a report to the Rebbe. I'm not sure if that one time was before the Rebbe became Rebbe or after, but it's irrelevant to the point of the story. And he had to give a report to the Rebbe about the work that he did. So he came to the Rebbe's home. I guess the Rebbe told him to come see his house. And he came to the Rebbe's house to give a report. Again, the story, he said it himself to his family, when I heard it from the family. So he came to the Rebbe to give the report. The Rebbe opened the door for him. He walked in. When he gave the report, what he's supposed to say. After he gave the report, the Rebbe tells him, it's being nice, the Rebbe tells him, would you like orange juice or pineapple juice? The Rebbe wanted to give him something to drink. He didn't know what to answer. The Rebbe asked this kind of question. So finally, I think he said orange juice. So the Rebbe says, give me a minute. The Rebbe went to the kitchen to get him some oranges. But a minute took a little bit more than a minute. So he decided he's going to pick him to the kitchen. What's going on? How long it takes to bring a cup of oranges? So he picks into the kitchen and he sees something very special. He sees the table in the kitchen, and on the table of the kitchen there's a chair, and on the chair the Rebbe is standing and is opening up one of the cupboards right on top in the kitchen. And he was like wondering what is going on. He's supposed to give me a cup of oranges because that's what he wants to do for me. And what is going on? He's climbing on a table, a chair. He was completely, I don't want to say confused, but he was completely shocked. But, it's not nice to look. So he went outside when he's waiting. And finally the Rebbe comes out and he gives him the cup of oranges. So he tells the Rebbe, can I ask you a question? The Rebbe says yes. Says, Rebbe, I'm sorry, but again, I'm not sure if it was before the Rebbe came, Rebbe, or after. I'm not sure. And he says, I have a question to ask you. He gave me orange juice, but I picked into the kitchen, and you went on a chair on the table. What was all this about? Just to have a cup of orange juice. So the Rebbe answered me, says the story, one line, but this line is a beautiful line. That's what I want to share. The Rebbe told me, he says, how often do I have the opportunity of doing the mitzvah of Achnasat Orchim, to have a guest in my house to give him something to drink? So when finally I have this opportunity, I was looking to get the most beautiful cups that we have, not to just give the guest in a regular cup. So I knew that up on top, at the cupboard on top, there's some beautiful cups that we have. I don't know from where those cups are, but we have some cups. So this is why I was climbing at a table on the chair to reach a cup like this to give you in this cup. This is why I did it. And that's the story. But the lesson is amazing. And the Rebbe teaches us, I'm doing the mitzvah of Achnasat Orchim, I can just do it. The Rebbe says, no, we finally have the opportunity of doing Achnasat Orchim. What was Achnasat Orchim? To give the fellow a cup of orange juice. I want to look for the nicest cup that I have. Even though this took the Rebbe to go on the table, on the chair, whatever was climbing there. This is the mitzvah of Achnasat Orchim. And this is the connection to this week's parsha. What does it mean Avraham Avinu teaches us? How far do we go for the mitzvah of Achnasat Orchim? Let's all learn a beautiful message from that. Have yourself a great Shabbos.